Well, hello my YouTube friends. Today it is my utter pleasure and my honor actually to present you this marvelous piece that I just received from Poland. The maker, as you all know, is Marcin Slycz. He's making knives for, I would say, almost 10 years. It's not one, those new makers coming from the new wave of makers. He's been here for quite a while, very respected maker overall, and I haven't seen anybody that would say anything, anything wrong actually about him. Any people that have his knives in hands are always adamant about how beautiful they are, how sturdy they are. I mean, they don't see anything wrong to say about that. And I can tell you firsthand now that I'm not going to say, I'm going to discuss sorry about that. I'm going to discuss about some points, actually the detent, that's it. Other than that, I am absolutely not only pleased, but overwhelmed to get a knife like that, because this is, this guy lives in Poland, actually. He lives in a small country there on the countryside of Poland. And I think that he's a guy who wants to have a tool and wanted, to build a tool, a useful tool, no nonsense, nothing, crazy. All his knives you're gonna see are gonna be, like titanium scale, no Damascus, or maybe he did some Damascus or Hammond, but usually you're gonna get this really nice stonewash, very, very nice stonewash. I mean, I don't know if the camera shows it well, but it's the stonewash that you can find, on your Sebenza, something like that, Very, very nice, very resistant, probably one of the best finish for a user. So, as I said, no nonsense, nothing crazy, simple in appearance, simple knives. And the thing is that lately I am more and more drawn into simplicity. I used to love, very, fancy knives, fancy material and everything. But now, the more it goes, the more I find that being able to reproduce, perfection while doing a simple tool or a simple object is, to me, even more difficult than making, fancy material and very bold, finish and everything. This is really more difficult. So, as I said, no nonsense. This guy is making a knife that is gonna be a knife that, that is the knife of the apocalypse. Tomorrow, if I had to keep one knife, one folder, that would be it. Simple as that. You're going to have a knife that is absolutely at the perfect size for an EDC. The blade length is something like, I would say 3.4, 3.5 inch. Look at that. For every hand, I'm sure that it's going to be the perfect grip. And it's resistant as you cannot imagine. Look at the thickness of those blades. When you look at that, I have a couple of people that didn't know about Marcin and told me, oh, it looks like a knockoff of a Mayo. Okay, this model with the holes and everything, okay, you can think that it resembles, and especially about the clip, it can resemble to a Mayo. But he makes a lot of different models. He makes fixies, he makes sleepies, he makes, you call them, you name them, he makes a lot of different models. This one is the one I like the most, and probably is better in best design, in my opinion, and it's called the Fat Bowie. Marcin started making knives, as I said, about 8, 9, 10 years ago, something like that. For the better part of my collector years, I've known and heard his name here and there. And he became, I would say, quite famous when he started making a design for Spyderco, starting with the Techno 3 years ago, and then probably one of the best designs Spyderco ever made, actually, the Bowie. The Slycz Bowie is actually the production version of this knife. Of course, It doesn't have anything to do with the custom version. But listen, I've held the Spyderco version in hand, and it's a perfect knife. For those of you who like production knife, it's an expensive one, but probably one of the best Spyderco ever made. So going back to this knife, yeah, as I said, some people could compare it, yeah, this one to a Mayo, for example. So I brought the Mayo here. Mayo also, it's the thing that I like about Mayo, and most of the people like also, it's the simplicity. You know, titanium scale, some holes like that, very functional blade. That's what people like about Mayo. But the difference between sleeves, even on this model, I mean, the other one you cannot even compare. But even if you want to compare this model, it's not even the same story. I mean, look at that. I mean, the thickness of the slabs of titanium are absolutely huge on this one. I would, you know what, without any offense to Tom Mayo, which is an absolutely great maker, I would say that this version, this model now, can be considered as a Mayo on steroids. That's exactly what it is. As I say, it's a really sturdy knife. Not to say that Mayo are weak, by no means, but they're more elegant, I would say. That's a good EDC, perfect EDC. I mean, I love this knife as an EDC. This knife, I wouldn't be afraid to use it as EDC. I wouldn't be afraid to use it outdoor. I wouldn't be afraid to use it for self-defense. I wouldn't be afraid to put that knife for hard use, period. So now, we've talked about the maker. Now let's see what we have here. One word to me that is also very important, and that is, it's not because it's rugged and simple that it's not refined. Believe me, I find a lot of refinement on this knife, and probably even more than a fancier knife. So there's a lot of refinement, and I hope that I will try to convey that with this video. So let's start with this handle. As you can see, he puts a lot of attention on his handle. Maybe you don't see it, but it's very highly contoured. Look at that. Highly contoured here. You can tell also that the edges, they have a kind of small, you know, edge between the roundness here and the lock side here. You have a kind of, you know, almost like an edge. I don't know how you call that. Like a chamfer, probably, you know. As on the hole, you see they're chamfered. I wouldn't call that chamfer. Yeah, maybe a chamfer, okay? You see that the holes, they're not simple holes. They're really nicely chamfered. So a nice contouring. On that side, you have some contouring. And also on that side, you have some nice contouring also. A great work of contouring. Now, the finish that he puts is a very resistant finish. I absolutely adore this deep stonewash that you have here. Very nice. No nonsense about the hardware. Very nice hardware. Regular Torx. Very nice to disassemble the knife. I mean, oh man, it's really simple to disassemble and make some maintenance on this knife. No nonsense on the other side either. Same finish, very rugged. The clip, usually I hate bent clip, you know, but if you just want to consider the functionality of the knife, this is the best clip you can ever imagine because it holds perfectly well in the pocket. Average carry, I mean medium carry, not too deep, not too protruding, and the retention is absolutely perfect. So that's a very nice clip, well done clip. And when it's open, of course you don't feel it in hand. Very nicely done. Then, still on the handle, what we can say. Okay, the standoffs. Look at those standoffs. Everything, of course, is custom. No machine, no craziness, nothing. I mean, everything is done by hand. Look at the finish of those standoffs. They're just absolutely sublime. And the contrast, I don't have a lot of light. I'm sorry. I wanted to make this video today, and I don't have a lot of light outside. So unfortunately, maybe you won't see the contrast here that you have on those standoffs that are green. Very nicely done and very resistant. Stop pin. Big stop pin, very nice. And now we're going to talk about the blade. So the blade is a very, very nicely done. I would call it maybe a clip point, yeah, a clip point, why not? Here you have a very, very deep hollow grind. And let me tell you that much. As I told you, this guy makes a knife for a user, and this knife cuts like you cannot even imagine. You know what? That's the good thing that since my daughter helped me with this kind of stick, I can film with two hands. Look at that. Look at it. I mean, this is laser sharp. I have not. Probably the Graham that I had was as sharp as this. I cannot find a knife that would be as sharp as this. Look at that. I mean, that's almost scary sharp. So, and the edge, the edge geometry. Oh man, my brother here on YouTube, the Apostle P, would be absolutely amazed by this edge geometry. Absolutely insane. Look at this tip here. Just fantastic. So nice hollow grind, very, very, very symmetrical on both sides. Very nice swedge here. And as you can tell here, there is a kind of also a kind of edge here that you have that is very, very nicely done. Look at the jimping, how beautiful the jimping is done, and very functional. Man, this knife, if you want to hard use it, here you have the kind of choil here that will make a kind of guard for the index, and believe me, this jimping, that knife won't go anywhere if you want to hard use it, okay? Engagement, rock solid. I like the fact that there is here a kind of groove. So when you disengage it, there is absolutely no effort to do. Absolutely no effort at all. So it's rock solid. I'm telling you, there is absolutely no blade play whatsoever. Okay. So now the action. And that's what I wanted to discuss a little bit, but the time is running and I'm not sure that I'll be able to say whatever I wanted to say. So the detent on this knife is really strong. So do I like it or not is not a matter of the day, okay? This knife has a strong detent. Again, I'm pretty sure that he wants that, and he makes the same detent for his flipper and for his manual opening knife. So this knife, you're gonna flick it, okay? And it flicks perfectly well. And let me tell you that much, it flicks even with my left hand. And you know me, I'm absolutely no lefty, and as you can tell, it flicks perfectly well. Now, if you want to open it delicately, as I like it to be like that, you won't. It will be slippery, okay? If you want to open it like that, you will do it. But it's not going to be smooth as I would say, take the Rexford, for example, okay? The Rexford, you open it like that smoothly. But if you want to use that kind of detent, that usually, when you do a manual, you take a weaker detent, I would say, than on the flipper. This is a flipper detent, okay? It does the same for this and the flipper. So usually when you want to do a thumb opening, you're going to make some compromise and use probably a weaker detent. So basically when you're going to put the knife like that, it will open, it won't open by accident because the detent is good, but if you flick it hard like that, it will open. This is a bank, it's a vault. You can do that and spend the day on it, you won't break that detent. So that's what was his choice actually, to make a strong detent on that. And I'm not going to argue about that. It's a choice of the maker. Me, I like it a lot because when you flick, it's really bold, and let me tell you, this won't open by accident by no means. But I probably, if I had to choose, I would do it a little bit weaker than that and took, something like the Monaro. You see, you can open it like that. The detent is still really nice and strong, you see. Of course, if you flick it hard enough, it will, yeah, I don't have enough. But you see, the detent is really good, and you can flick it like that. You can flick it with the index. Sorry, I don't really have a lot of room here. Yeah, you can flick it with the index, as you can tell. I like better, I would say, an average detent. Not too strong, not too weak. This one is probably a little bit too weak, but maybe it can improve in time. But again, it's not a flow at all. At all, it's not a flow. Look at the detent. And I know that a lot of people would consider that as a great feature, actually. Look at the centering. This is absolutely spot on. Time is running too fast for me. I cannot say only good things about that. I needed to temperate my with the D10 thing, but again, it's just a mention to make. I am more than happy with that knife, and hopefully I'll get some more from this great maker and great man. See you later, YouTube. Bye bye.